benefits from a thriving immigrant population of India. And India is doing a lot in working in Australia to develop Australia economically. Australia has problems with China. India is coming forth and helping Australia. Australia gets immense benefits from trade and business relationships with India under the Economic and Cooperation Trade Agreement. But Australia must remember its responsibilities to the people of India. When there are racist attacks being carried out against Indians, the Australians, their police, their government, their state government, they do absolutely nothing. Nothing. Take a look.
Tiranga-carrying Indians were peacefully marching on the streets of Melbourne in protest against a Khalistani referendum. Watch how Khalistani extremists chase them, assault the Indians, desecrate the tricolour, while the Australian authorities do nothing. Just like how they failed to prevent the attack on the Swaminarayan temple in the Milk Park area of Melbourne. And this attack on the ISKCON temple in Albert Park in Melbourne.
In last 15 days, 3 Hindu temples were vandalized. If the police would have taken action and have arrested those who vandalized the first Hindu temple 15 days back, that could have deterred further attacks. But attackers are emboldened by no action against them, and now they are openly bragging about it on social media. We demand immediate arrest of the culprits.
3 Hindu temples have been attacked, and the racist attack on Sunday comes despite repeated warnings about the inaction of the police by groups like the Australian Hindu Association just 4 days before the attack. The Indian High Commission has now raised the issue with Australia. But there cannot be free trade agreements on one hand and attacks on the other. Australia cannot benefit from the Indian mines and Indian students paying fees on one hand and facing attacks on the other. Australia cannot pass the buck anymore. Let's debate.
On this debate, I have Sardar R.P. Singh of the BJP. We have Sarah Gates. She's the Director of Hindu Human Rights Australia. She's joining us from Melbourne. Advocate Iman Singh Khara is Secretary Dal Khalsa of the Punjab Human Rights Affairs and Legal Council of Amritpal. He has been openly supporting people who are pro-Khalistani, and he should see what's going on in Australia. And Sansar Singh of the Delhi Shiromani Akali Dal is joining us from Amritsar. First, I would like to go across to Sachin. Sachin is joining us from Melbourne, and he was targeted by Khalistanis in Melbourne. Sachin, can you tell us what happened? आपके साथ क्या हुआ? थोड़ा अगर डिटेल में बता सके हमें प्लीज.
ठीक है, नमस्ते Arnab ji, thanks for having me here. Like we have been lately we have too many unpleasant incident here in Melbourne. Like there were posters around the Melbourne about Khalistan referendum praising Vindawala and calling him martyr. 3 Hindu temples were targeted, as we all know that. What happened on that day, like on 26 January, we were celebrating Indian Republic Day, and the 15 to 20 Khalistani guys gathered outside. They started shouting slogans. They had put our Tiranga on the pavement and were stomping on it, dancing on it, and they were brandishing swords over there. They even stopped on one of the random Australian and made his dog walk on the flag, as you have all seen that video. There were only few police. Then we were forced to exit the venue by the police to avoid this confrontation. So what we have decided, some of the students and Indian professionals decided to just do the peaceful march, and with Tiranga in our hands in the same place, that is on the place of referendum. But it is far from the building. So what happened that 29th with that peaceful march, this was conveyed to the authorities too. And the group of students had been there in the morning. They were chased by these goons. Those who had Tiranga in their hands were targeted and hit. We were group of 40 people, both students and professionals, who went there around 4:30. Police on the venue asked us to go to the right side of that venue. Usually peaceful protests are held. So we had barely started to move when they were attacked from all sides. It is like attack from all sides, from the back, from the side, from the front with the metallic poles, swords, knives. All those were used weapons. Those weapons used against us. Police number was way too less to counter them. Two of our guys were hit on the head with knives and swords. Many were beaten with the iron rod. I was hit on the head with the rod and kicked on the ground. Anyone who had Tiranga on them, they was their target. They tried to snatch it away from my hand, but I did not let them. So I was hit by the iron rod on my head, and I have got fractured finger on my head, left hand. Police then...
One minute, RP Singh, we should squeeze Australia. Australia needs us. Australia is anyway having problems with China. We are one of the largest trading partners. They need us. They can't enjoy most favored nation status in 31 subsectors in India. Indian students are vulnerable. Indian community people are vulnerable. Hindus are vulnerable. Why are you doing nothing? Simple MEA statement condemning it is not good enough. It's just not good enough. I can't hear you, sir. Please.
Arnab, Arnab, can you hear me now? Arnab,
yeah, I
it's not
can.
merely issuing a statement. I mean, the government of India has already taken up the matter with the Australian authority, and then surely they show that the safety of the Indians there who are there, and then yes, the episode which happened.
No, sir, I disagree with you. Mr. RP Singh, on the ground, nothing is happening. I want Sarah Gates also to come in. She's director of the Hindu Human Rights Australia. On the ground, Sarah, what change has happened? Because I'm getting a bureaucratic response now from the ruling party. It's a bureaucratic response.
Well, let me just tell you that Hindus and their human rights are being violated. Their religious freedom is being violated here on the ground. What you see on television is just the final result of years of build-up of tension, and there has been absolutely no impact. All of our activism, all of our voicing our concerns to the authorities have led to nothing. We told them that this was going to happen. All of us informed the authorities at different levels of the system. They knew that this event was going to take place. They knew that there would be a counter demonstration, and they didn't have the police resources on the street to stop this from happening, and that's what needed to be done. Everybody knew this was going to happen, and I don't think they really quite fathom the danger to the community of Sikhs for Justice. They have come in, they have caused mayhem in the community. Such hatred has been distributed behind the scenes on social media. I mean, what you see on social media is just a tiny fraction of what's been going on behind the scenes in the community.
Iman Singh Khara, why is Amritpal quiet on this? You are the lawyer for Amritpal. You've been his legal counsel. He's a Khalistan supporter. He supports this too. Why is he quiet on this?
Mr. Goswami, if I have to talk about the incident, in my opinion, it's just that the Sikh community from Australia is just exercising their basic human right enshrined under the United Nations Charter. That is the right to self-determination.
Is this a human right? It's a human right. No. It's a human right. This, in your view, and you're such a hypocrite, you are saying out here that attacking Indians who are carrying the tricolour with rods is a human right. I am ashamed of you, Iman Singh Khara. You hold an Indian passport and an Indian citizen. When Indian citizens are being attacked like this in Australia, you are saying that is the human rights of the attackers. How opportunistic can you get, Mr. Khara? You shock me. You shock me. I think you're a Khalistan supporter yourself.
Some hooligans, they carrying Indian flags, tried to sabotage the democratic process which was going on. The process of the referendum. What
Sarah is on the... Sarah, please go on. Sarah's responding, yeah.
We have to do
if they really... Sarah, go on.
The other side.
Sarah, go on.
I guess they are responsible.
Sarah, go on.
Listen, you can see them, they're running away from Federation Square to chase Indians who were leaving, and they were obeying police orders to actually disperse, and the Khalistanis chased them and beat them with metal bars. Now that is against Australian law. So you cannot come around saying this is a human rights issue. They had nothing to defend. They should have stayed behind on the Federation Square premises and conducted their referendum peacefully. Do not come out into the Australian public and start waving bars around and looking like absolute thugs. This is unacceptable. Don't allow this, and don't explain it or apologise on behalf of these violent people. The Hindus did not commit a crime. They had every right to democratically protest.
It's terrible that there are people in India, and RP Singh, I think you're not being tough enough. I don't know what you're doing. I think the government should really, show a little bit of clout in this case.
You couldn't hear me. You didn't allow me to complete.
No, I'll come to you later. I want Sansar Singh to come in. He's president of the Delhi Shiromani Akali Dal. Sansar Singh ji, क्या हो रहा है इधर ऑस्ट्रेलिया में? इस पर क्या कहना है आपको?
देखो, ऑस्ट्रेलिया जो हो रहा है, जो ਇਹਦਾ कोई वो नहीं है कि कोई वहाँ गलत नहीं हो रहा, जो कोई एक गलत तरीके नाल अच्छी भली वोटिंग अगर हो रही है तो ਉਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ कोई खलल पावे तो वो तो कुदरती है कि इस तरह ਹੁੰਦਾ है। तो इंडिया ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕੀ हो रहा है, जिदा ये लोग कहते हैं कि खालिस्तान की गल करते हैं, तो इंडिया ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ
आप तो खालिस्तान का समर्थन नहीं करते ना संसार सिंह जी?
क्यों नहीं बोलते?
संसार सिंह जी, आप कहीं खालिस्तान का समर्थन तो नहीं करते ना?
नहीं, हम बिल्कुल नहीं, बिल्कुल करते हैं। हम तो हिंदुस्तान के अंदर देखो बेइंसाफी जहां हो रही है वहां
तो आप खालिस्तान सपोर्टर हैं। आरपी सिंह जी, देखिए, आप कह रहे हैं आप खालिस्तान के सपोर्टर हैं। आप खुल के बोल रहे हैं कि आप खालिस्तान सपोर्टर हैं।
बिल्कुल है। मैं तो आप
हाँ बिल्कुल
इनसे पूछिए, खालिस्तान सबसे पहले
मगर आरपी सिंह जी मुझे बताइए, आपके नहीं आरपी सिंह जी, और पहली बात तो ये ईमान सिंह खारा जी, आप अगर खालिस्तान सपोर्टर है तो क्यों पासपोर्ट लेके बैठे हुए हैं? इधर जाइए ना, जो कंट्री का खालिस्तान सपोर्टर है वहां पे जाइए, सुख सुविधा सब भारत में लेकर भारत के खिलाफ बात करना चाहते हैं। मगर आरपी सिंह जी, आप इनको कंट्रोल क्यों नहीं कर रहे? आप ओपनली अलाउ कर रहे हैं, क्यों कर रहे हैं?
देश
आप बोलिए, आरपी सिंह जी बोलिए।
खालिस्तान का जिससे सबसे पहले पासपोर्ट बना, अरे सुन तो लीजिए।
नहीं, कंट्रोल आरपी सिंह के हाथ में।
अरे संसार सिंह जी सुनो एक मिनट।
आरपी सिंह अगर,
अरे संसार सिंह जी एक मिनट सुनो।
84 नहीं याद, इसको 83 का दंगा।
बोलिए आरपी सिंह जी। थैंक यू आरपी
साहब के ऊपर अटैक नहीं जा।
आरपी सिंह जी,
आपसे ज्यादा 84 याद है। 84 के सारे मुकदमे लड़ रहा हूँ, और 84 के पूरी लड़ाई सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने मैं ही लड़ रहा हूँ। आप कभी आए नहीं सुप्रीम कोर्ट में लड़ाई लड़ने के लिए, आप आए नहीं। परंतु याद दिलाता हूं आपको, जगजीत सिंह चौहान पहले खालिस्तानी थे जिन्होंने पासपोर्ट शुरू किया था, जिन्होंने करेंसी शुरू करी थी, और फिर वापस माफी मांगकर वापस आए थे और यहां इलेक्शन भी लड़े थे। तो किस खालिस्तान की बात करते हो आप?
नहीं, इलेक्शन लड़ने की कोई ये मतलब नहीं है कि इलेक्शन
याद है जगजीत सिंह चौहान?
इसका मतलब इलेक्शन
नहीं, आप जगजीत सिंह चौहान याद है आपको? जब भूल गए जगजीत सिंह चौहान को।
I would like to invite at the very end Sarah Gates. Sarah, a lot of people in the country watch this program. If someone from the Indian government is watching this tonight, and I am of a clear view, without any prevarication, that this needs to be picked up much stronger by the Indian government. But I'd like you to say something to the government here, which obviously is not acting fast enough. The foreign minister is not doing as much as it should. In this case, a perfunctory raising the issue with Australian diplomats is not working. What do you think, Sarah?
Well, the Sex for Justice movement has proven itself time and time again to agitate, to cause communal tension, and to be capable and to be committed to conducting acts of violence on Australian soil. They've conducted, I don't know if they're Sex for Justice, but around the time of the farmers' protest, people who speak out against this. One person has been almost murdered in New Zealand, hacked up with, I think, swords. There was one group that had some kind of riot inside a Gurudwara in Queensland, some kind of succession issue, and a person's hand was almost chopped off. And now we've got this. We've got hate crimes against Hindu temples. We've got hate manifestos against Hindus being circulated. among these groups, and nobody wants to stand up and take responsibility for it. So I think the group needs to be put on a watch list, and if possible, it needs to be banned. I mean, this is not welcome here. This is not our Australian multicultural values, and Penny Wong said it. She said that we.
I totally agree with you. I hope your voice reaches out to those that should. And ladies and gentlemen, that's all the time I have. It's Australian hypocrisy. It's not the hypocrisy of the Australian people, it's the hypocrisy of the Australian government. And we are closing in on the budget, which is day after tomorrow. I'll bring you live coverage in the morning only for tonight, with a promise to see you sharp at 9 tomorrow. Good night and goodbye.